Welcome back to Let's Vibe Podcast. In today's episode, we are diving into the world of Burning Man as I get to interview the lovely Kyra Bramble, who wrote Burning Wings, which is a novel about her first year at Burning Man. I get to ask her more insights on the book and Burning Man, and we have just a super awesome conversation, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear this interview today. So let's vibe into today's episode. Hello, you guys. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am so happy to have you here. So thank you for spending your Tuesday with me. I hope you guys are doing well. We're halfway through January, which is crazy, but I hope you guys are doing well and hanging in there and had a good weekend and everything and are ready for a good week. We have a lot to go into in this episode. I'm super excited to share with you guys, but don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, share this podcast with a friend. If you are into Burning Man, have any inkling to want to go to Burning Man, want to learn about Burning Man, have friends that are interested, definitely share this podcast with them. I'm going to get more into the book and Burning Man and everything like that with Kyra, but I'm just going to tell you guys it was such an awesome conversation, so I really am excited for you guys to hear this, and I do have an exciting announcement too to go with that. But rate, review, subscribe, all that jazz. Without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Let's kick off with a good old vibe check. So what we're going to do, we're just going to relax. We're going to come into ourselves right now. We are going to take 3 collective breaths, and then I am going in to ask some questions just so we can check in with ourselves, see how we feel, and everything like that. So first off, take the first breath, breathe in, and breathe out. Again, back in, and back out. Last one in, and back out. Whew. Feeling good after that. I'm feeling so good going into this episode, you guys. We love when Aid's feeling good. I'm going to ask the following questions, and you can think in your head, journal, whatever feels good. How am I feeling today? Do I like this feeling? What could this feeling be trying to teach me? What could make today better, or is there a need to? What are 3 things I'm grateful for today? What could I affirm for myself today, or a goal I can set for myself? Now, I'll go ahead and share how I'm feeling, and you can ponder these questions throughout today. So today, I'm feeling good, you guys. Aid is in a good mood today. I am very just happy. I'm feeling very in the flow, in my vibe. Yeah, I'm feeling great. People have been asking me how I'm doing, and I definitely feel like I'm on an upswing of things, is what I like to say. October, November, December, all of that was just like getting rid of energy. I felt like I was just very stuck. I was just in a very weird place. January has felt like a breath of fresh air, and I don't know if it's because of the new year, the work I've been doing on myself and continuing to do on myself. I recently made investments in myself. So I don't know, I'm feeling really good, and I'm just surrounded by really awesome people that are also kind of contributing to me feeling good and feeling very high vibe. So I think that's all really helping work together. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see in the background here, the vines are gone. I moved the vines to the bedroom. I am just redecorating, getting this place ready to go for the year. I just want this place to be decorated. I want all the furniture bought. I want it all to be done. The patio is going to wait until springtime, but yeah, we're just doing a lot in our apartment this month just to have a really good space, because I feel like I'm stepping into a newer version of myself, making investments in myself, things like that. More to come on that, you guys, later on. But so yeah, that's what I did this past weekend. I just got some stuff for the apartment, hung out with Chase, got some good time with my boyfriend. We love him. And yeah, it was just a really good weekend, and I'm feeling really good going into this week. I'm at home on a Sunday today, which feels really good because I can get ready for a week and just be in a good flow this week. I feel like I've been out of my routine just a little bit the past couple of weeks and just trying to like play catch up. But I feel like this week is like, all right, we're here. We're going to have a good week and everything like that. Last Sunday, I was snowed in at Chase's because I'm scared to drive in ice and snow, even though it wasn't that much. But it was nice seeing snow. So it's nice to have a Sunday to myself to just get ready for a good week. So do I like this feeling? Hell yeah, I love this feeling. I'm feeling so good going into the week. I just need to get a good night's sleep and we're ready to go. Hello, Monday. She's here. What could this feeling be trying to teach me? That we're doing everything right and we're doing everything good for ourselves and we're just tuning into ourselves, feeling what's good, what's in alignment, what's not in alignment, saying yes, saying no, all that jazz. What could make today better, or is there a need to? I just need to go to bed and have a good night's sleep. That's all I could really ask for tonight. 3 things I'm grateful for today. Number 1, stepping out of my comfort zone. I have really put myself out there this past week, you guys. I have, invested in some life coaches. I've done some interviews with different podcasts going on. I've been saying yes to what feels good, what doesn't feel good, but I've also I feel like I've been stepping out of my comfort zone a lot more with my content and also with TikTok and stuff like that. So I don't know, feeling really good and grateful for that because it's brought me here. I feel like it's definitely helping my confidence and everything like that. So I'm feeling really good about that. Number 2, myself. Definitely grateful for myself lately. I have just been feeling good. I've been in a really good headspace and I feel like I've really just have continued to learn and continue to grow how I can best benefit myself. So I'm giving myself a pat on the back for that because, it's hard. It's really hard, but I'm very excited for what this year can hold and the potential that it holds. And I'm very proud of myself for just, saying, you know what, I'm going to change things this year. I really want to just go after it, stop playing small. So that's what we're doing, that we're continuing with that plan. And number 3, I'm grateful for the season of life I'm in. I kind of just woke up and was just like I said, I'm kind of done. I just want to move on to the next part of my life and I really just want to go after it. And this is the time to do it. Festivals and shows still really aren't back. So I feel like I'm taking advantage of this time before things can get a little crazy. And so I'm very grateful for this time I'm in. I'm feeling really good. Chase and I are really good. Everything's just really good. And then finally, a goal or affirmation. Oh, my Secret Santa video that I did with a group of content creators. I got Living by the F Word. And she had gifted me this butterfly affirmations book. So I'm going to pull one for myself just because I can't think of one off the top of my head. And then this can also be an affirmation for you guys to utilize. So what I do is I just give it a little shuffle here, little card shuffle ASMR. And I'm just going to pick this top one here, which is this butterfly. And it says, I am valuable. Many people are thankful for my presence in their lives. So cute. If you're watching on YouTube, you guys can see it here. I think that's awesome. So that is an affirmation you can take with yourself through the week. That is definitely one I am going to write tomorrow when I journal and just reflect on that. I am valuable. Many people are thankful for my presence in their lives. What a great note to end on this vibe check. So I hope you guys can check in with yourselves. It's going to be hopefully not a crazy week, but just take some time for self-care this week for sure. With everything going on, I hope you guys can hang in there and just really take care of yourself. So I am going to take a quick break and we will be right back. Alrighty, it's been a minute since I did a promo ad read kind of thing. So hi, hello, this is the first one of 2021. I am so excited to announce that I am now a part of The Stage, which is a EDM content creator hub that was created by Stage Hoppers. So this episode is brought to you by The Stage. If you guys want to go check it out, I will leave the link down below in the show notes and everything like that. But if you are interested in checking out other content in the EDM festival space, The stage is for you. It has other podcasts listed. It has Let's Vibe podcast. It has my YouTube channel listed. You can also check out other festival vloggers and festival YouTube channels. You can also check out tour and festival footage. There's just a lot going on, but it's a one-stop shop for you, so you can see all the creators in one space and maybe find other content that suits your needs or what you're looking for. So definitely go check it out. I will have the link down below for you guys. That is The Stage by Stage Hoppers. Without further ado, let's vibe back into today's episode. Buckle yourselves up, guys. We are going to the playa. For those that don't know, the playa is what they call Burning Man, the playground that you get to play in. So I have never been to Burning Man. It is definitely on my list to attend. I first found out about Burning Man, oh gosh, I don't remember exactly. It might have been like 2016, 2015. And then I just started researching and learning more and more about it, became so fascinated by it. I follow a couple people that go to Burning Man and share their experiences on Instagram. I've just always been so fascinated by it because you have to bring everything with you to this festival, which I think is insane. Like everything you need for a week, you bring, and pack in, pack out. The only thing you can buy is coffee, I think. And then the rest you just have to have on you, or other people can gift you things. Like some people offer up things. We'll get more into it with Kyra in her interview today, but I just wanted to kind of preface my knowledge about Burning Man and why I wanted to have her on the podcast. She had reached out to me on Let's Vibe podcast about her book, and when she told me it was a book about Burning Man, I'm like, yes, I'm down. If I love the book, I would love to have you on. So I read this book all throughout November and December, I want to say. It was my nighttime reading because I love reading a good fiction book, like a story kind of book, while I'm falling asleep. And so it is a really awesome book, especially if you guys have any interest in learning more about Burning Man. There is just such amazing themes that come out of it. The chapters are really laid out nicely, and I just really enjoyed it. It was just a really good read. It's something unlike anything I've ever read before because it's more so, with music and experiences and stuff like that. So I really did enjoy it. And so once I read the book, I reached back out to her and I was like, yep, let's have you on Let's Vibe podcast. I would love to talk with you more and everything like that. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear what we talk about. We talk about Burning Man. We talk about, where she kind of came from. Had she been to festivals before? Her music taste, how she's been handling the pandemic and everything like that. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Another thing is that she is going to also be giving away 2 signed copies of the book. So when this episode goes live, make sure you go check out my Instagram. I'm going to be posting a giveaway on my Instagram that is also with Kyra. And so that is going to be on Let's Vibe Podcast Instagram at Let's Vibe Podcast. So if you guys want to potentially win a book for you and a friend of your choosing, you will also get a limited edition Burning Wings gold necklace, which was created in the tradition of on playa gifting. So I will have that post up for you guys, and you guys can go check it out and make sure you follow all the rules and everything like that. We're going to have this up for about January 19th through the 26th, so just be sure to get your entries in and everything like that. We are super excited to be doing this, and if you guys also just want to get the book for yourself, you guys can get it also on Amazon, but she'll plug everything, and yeah. So I think I've chatted enough to intro you guys to today's episode, so let's vibe and welcome Kyra Bramble to that. So let's vibe and welcome Kyra Bramble to the Let's Vibe podcast. Alrighty, you guys, I am so excited to welcome Kyra Bramble to Let's Vibe podcast today. She is over in Hawaii right now, which I'm so jealous of, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But like I said, she is the author of Burning Wings, which is a book centered around her first experience as Burning Man. It was a novel that she wrote. And so we're just going to dive into everything about that. I read the book and I absolutely loved it, like I said in the intro. I'm someone that would love to go to Burning Man. So I was just so invested in the book because I'm just like, I want to know everything about it. So we're going to dive into all of that today. But first, I want to let Kyra introduce herself to you guys so you guys can get to know her a little bit more. And then we'll also have her participate in a little vibe check. So, Kyra, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone.
Yay, thank you so much for having me, Aid. I'm a big fan. I love listening to you. You're so just fun and kind and intelligent, and it's an honor to be here. And I'm so happy you read the book and loved it. Yeah, so I'm based in Maui. I'm a Northern California girl from San Francisco. I've been out here for 6 years. I come from a background in hospitality and event production, definitely a lot of festivals and late nights under my belt. A little bit more low key now. I teach yoga and I work as a private chef, primarily working with yoga retreats. And since COVID kind of wiped out a lot of my regular work, I used that space to launch this book that I'd kind of been sitting on for a while. So it's a huge, huge just piece of my heart. It's incredibly personal. And being able to share it with people like you and your listeners is freaking incredible. So thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, of course. Happy to have you on. I think you DM'd me and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm so down. And I'm trying to get more comfortable with having guests again this year. I took like a little bit of a hiatus, but when you messaged me, I was like, yes, let me read the book. I'm down. Let's bring you on because I'm sure other people are interested in that. And also, I didn't know about the event production side to you or anything. So I'm sure there's other people that might be interested in that kind of things as well. But I did mention we're going to do a little vibe check. So I already did my little breathing exercise and everything at the start of the episode, but wanted to just check in with you. How have things been going day to day? How are you feeling today?
Oh my goodness. Today I'm feeling amazing. I feel like everything in this pandemic has been really high highs and kind of low lows. And it's been interesting to observe that and to breathe through whatever it is and live in the moment and not be attached to it. I actually did get COVID back in July.
Mm.
And I think that I have some long-term effects from it. I just finished up antibiotics for a lingering bacterial infection.
Oh
And
goodness.
I finished feeling like crap for a couple of weeks and felt amazing right in time for my birthday last weekend. So
Oh,
yeah,
happy
so
late
I that
birthday.
thank you. So I had a really sweet weekend with some of my best girlfriends. Here on Maui, I think we're a little bit slightly more lax than the mainland, and I feel incredibly blessed with that. We can have gatherings of 5 or more. Most things are open, but at reduced capacity. We're
Okay.
still doing masks, but because so much in Hawaii centers around the outdoors, anyways, there hasn't been a lot of change.
Hmm.
Of course, having tourism crash has been really detrimental to a lot of businesses and just like personal worth, myself included. I watched all of my bookings just go from fully booked to zero.
Yeah.
But overall, it's been really amazing for me to have the space to slow down and get to work on more creative projects instead of constantly being on like the go,
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 go.
go, go. Yeah. I know you're into astrology. I'm a freaking quintuple Capricorn, and I usually have multiple projects going at once. And like city event production, hospitality kind of like switched into the retreat catering and full on stuff here. So it's really rare that I have this much open space and that I'm not on planes every week.
Yeah.
So it's been a really, really beautiful and painful growth year.
Yeah.
But right here, right now, I feel really healthy and I'm really grateful for my health. And I'm so happy to be here talking to you. So
Yeah.
vibe is high.
Um, Vibe is very high. So I was gonna ask, I was like, wait, your birthday was last week. That makes you a Capricorn. So, but
Yes.
then you said you have 4 planets in Capricorn.
I have 4 other ones. So yeah, what am I? I'm Sun. Oh my goodness. Sun, Venus, I think Pluto, Mercury, and I have to look at my chart for the last
Yeah.
one. Yeah, but then I'm a Gemini rising and I have my Mars
Okay.
in Scorpio, so I can still get down.
Okay. And then your moon, what's your moon
Moon,
in?
moon's in Capricorn as
Oh, moon's
well.
in Capricorn as well. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Mine's a Taurus sun, Capricorn rising, and Virgo moon. So I have all three earth signs. I think it makes me a little bit more grounded, but it also kind of explains why I'm so organized and on it with projects and like all that stuff too. So very fun. You did mention that you are grateful for your health. Are there any other things that you're grateful for? We typically list off like three things you're grateful for right now.
Yes, definitely health's really high there.
Mhm.
I have to give a big shout out for my community. I have the most amazing group of girlfriends and a lot of man friends, but mostly my ladies here on Maui and extended across the Bay Area and honestly across the world. I think one of my favorite parts of getting older is all of the beautiful friendships and connections that I've accumulated.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that you know too, just going to festivals and going to raves, you definitely drop in a lot quicker and you form these really incredible, unbreakable bonds. And I'm also grateful for God, just being on Maui.
Yeah.
I talk to people in cities and I can't imagine. I've gone through my own spells of depression here, being in isolation and being in a city environment during this from a mental health perspective. I can't imagine. So I'm really grateful that I have access to such beautiful weather, to the jungle, to the beaches, and to the open air.
Yeah, I could definitely attest to that. I'm in Austin. We're a lot more open here. Probably similar to what you were describing. Like we've been open probably since May of last year, but like just that little taste of like a quarantine from March to April, May, where like gyms were closed, all of that, like I was not doing well. So I really feel for like my listeners if you're in California, New York, those kind of more lockdown cities. Can only
Hmm.
imagine. I can only imagine, but and then an affirmation, goal, mantras, or anything that you're kind of like living by or anything these days?
Yeah, my mantra word has been for a while now has been grace. I've always really admired people that can react to stressful situations or even like really positive situations with a lot of grace and humility and humbleness. You know, sometimes there's drama or somebody's upset about something, your day's just kind of not a good day because that absolutely happens. And there are some people that don't really radiate that or pass it on to others. They just seem to have this way of brushing it off and still like being kind and generous and grateful even when there's controversy around them. And so living from a place of grace and love no matter what happens has been something that I've actively been working on for a long time, and I don't know if that will ever stop.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that can always be continuous. I feel it too. I feel like can never, I have a hard time of giving myself grace, because I just like can be very hard on myself. And so that is definitely something I can relate a lot to. It typically happens when I'm talking to someone and they're like, okay, you just listed off all these things you're going through and yet you're still being hard on yourself, or like you just listed off all these things that you've accomplished and you're being hard on yourself still. So I think that's definitely something that's great. Definitely can tell my followers to give yourself some grace, give yourself some credit. We're going through these tough times right now, which is just, it's crazy. We've never seen anything like this before, and not even our families have or anything. So
Yep,
definitely love that.
I love that. Yeah, treating yourself with compassion, treating others with compassion is so important. And I am able to treat others with so much love and give the best advice ever. But when it comes to myself, I'm my own worst critic.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
self love, self love, self grace, self compassion.
Yeah, I love that. And so that kind of leads into, what you've learned through the pandemic and what you've been going through this year led to your book. I really want to start off with this and then we can go into everything else that kind of ties into it and your journey and everything. So you have your book, Burning Wings, and did
Yeah,
that, yeah, yep, you can put it up for the people to see. And you can get it off of Amazon. And is there anywhere else you can get it to?
I'm just doing it through Amazon.
Okay.
I self published. It's either it's a print version or on Kindle. I am working on getting an Audible together, but that's a whole other possible pandemic project.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know when that's live.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit how that all came to be. Did you go to Burning Man and kind of had an idea like, I want to put this into a book, or Just kind of tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, please read the book. It goes even deeper into all of this to all the
Yes.
listeners. So my first year at Burning Man was in 2007, which
Okay.
was back in the day for me, not back in the day for a lot of burners, since it actually started in 1986 in San Francisco.
Mhm.
I was 21, I was lost, I was wild, I had my heart broken, and I was given this magical ticket to this crazy place. And it was one of the first places I'd ever been where I felt this kind of like universal love and universal place where I could self express and really be myself.
Mhm.
And it was part like spiritual awakening, part shit show, part integration into this new community. And I left it really feeling like this different person, like anything was possible, like magic was possible. And since then, I've been absolutely hooked. This would have been my 12th year out on Burning Man. And through the years, my participation has definitely escalated. I now work with a pretty large production camp and go out and like do full build, manage things, do
Mhm.
production, do the whole cleanup. And I'm out there for like 17 days, pretty much working almost every
Wow.
single day. Um, so yeah, so I went and I felt this incredible desire to want to give back to this place that had changed me. Burning Man isn't just about partying, although trust me, we can out party most people. There's also this element of like creation and community and hard work and growing community alongside that hard work. So when I moved to Maui 6 years ago, I'll fully answer your question.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I'd been doing some travel writing and I decided that I wanted to put together a book of short travel stories about my
Okay.
adventures around the world. And initially, my first year at Burning Man was just supposed to be a short story. Um, I had these dream catcher wings and they ended up like changing this woman's life. It's all in the book, but it was just gonna be this fluffy short story about that. And as I wrote, the story just got deeper and deeper, and I realized that it was way longer than just one story could be. And so I just kind of kept on writing. And as I think, I don't know, I'd never really experienced this form of art before where I just went into another dimension and the words just came
Came
out of
out.
me, just came out. And I just like watched in amazement as all of these emotions turned into like these really like vivid hallucinations that weren't even necessarily rooted in reality or my memories, but they were very
Mhm.
symbolic of what I was going through. And I kept on writing. I called everybody I could find from my first year in 2007 and tried to like put together this rough timeline so it was more or less cohesive.
Yeah.
And then in Burning Man 2017, which was my 10-year Playa anniversary, I launched a copy of the book and just gave it away on Playa.
Mhm.
So gifting is a huge part of Burning Man ethos. Everybody, whether it's like sound camps or necklaces or
Mhm.
ice cream or pizza or hugs or workshops, like just giving is a huge part of that culture. And so I gave away, I think, like 300 copies of this first round of the book. And then I kind of sat on it. Like I was starting vegan chef business. I was getting really into the yoga and wellness scene. And the book definitely goes into like the real side of Burning Man. Like there's definitely some substances and some fun in there mixed in with everything else. And I didn't really want to have this contradictory marketing. So I kind of just sat on it. And then COVID comes along and it's like, well, shoot, there's no time like the present. I
Yeah.
have this manuscript. So I found an editor. I found a cover artist. I worked with an incredible formatter and just I had to do it. So I put it out the week that Burning Man would have been this past year in
Okay.
2020. So it came out in September. And I had COVID during the time of putting it out too. So it got pushed back a little bit. So there's all of these different elements going on at the same time, but ultimately it was a passion project and it really kept me going through that COVID depression, like having something to focus my energy on and having this incredible piece of art that I was so proud of. So yeah, definitely check out the cover art, you guys. My girlfriend Marie Poliak, who's another amazing artist, illustrator, and burner, did the cover art. There's also cover illustrations from her inside. One of my really old friends who doesn't go to Burning Man anymore, but used to be really, really in the scene with me, is now like a master's English teacher and kind of a hard ass. So I had him do all the editing and went
Oh,
back and forth with him. And my really good friend Eli Morgan, who worked with Alex and Allison Gray for years and did all of their layout, supported me with the art direction for the book. So it was very much this like collaborative project with all of these different incredible humans that have ties to Burning Man culture.
yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's amazing, especially to have it more of like a collaborative thing because that's kind of what Burning Man kind of encapsulates in some sort from what I've got is that, there's a gifting side to it. There's like other times for collaboration. So I think it's really great that you're able to like bring other people along with you. And the book is really amazing, you guys. I especially love that each chapter is the day of a festival, which I think is a really great way. It's different, it's unique from a regular book that's broken up into chapter one, chapter two, chapter three. Like I literally felt like I was going through her whole Burning Man experience. Um, was the book like each day from just that first year, or was it like were some stories kind of picked from your other years, or was this book just entirely made from the first year?
Yeah. So I first of all, I love that you caught that and appreciate it. So yeah, so the book is 7 chapters, Monday through Sunday. Like I said, when I started writing it, I contacted all of my old campmates and went through as many old Burning Man blogs as I could and tried to
Mm-hmm.
piece together 2017. That being said, like I didn't sleep a lot and there was a lot going on. And I started writing this in like 2016, I think was when I started.
Okay,
So there's definitely some gaps that I allowed creative license for.
gotcha.
So there are a lot of stories, both from my own experiences at Burning Man and festivals, and just from conversations with other people that have been to Burning Man or about spirituality or about festivals or psychology that have kind of interwoven themselves into the story. So it's like this really cool tapestry of all of these different characters and experiences that come together to form this full story. So I decided to publish the book as a novel and not a memoir. And I go into this in the introduction of it, but
Mm-hmm.
on the cover it says a mostly true story. So it is mostly true.
Okay. Yeah, I remember reading that. I was just curious if it was just like picked from a bunch of since you've been for so long. I didn't know how long you'd been going. The whole book writing process, I remember you saying that you had given it to people at Burning Man 2017. Was there like a lot more edits from that version in 2017 to what we read today?
Yes, absolutely. The 2017 version had pretty amateur edits.
Okay.
And when I got back home and started going through it again, like that Capricorn perfectionist thing, I was like, oh, this doesn't flow well. This doesn't really make sense. And I also had more inspiration and more stories that I started to weave into it. So this version has about 25% more content, I think. In 2017, I was like, I don't even know how long a thing has to be to publish it and call it a book. So I just started
Yeah.
Googling things.
Okay.
I think Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is 54,000 words, which is shorter than most novels are recommended to be. So I was like, okay, it's got to be as long as Fear and Loathing. And I made
Okay.
it like just to that word count. And this new one is 63,000 words. So yeah, definitely a lot more content, definitely a lot more hardcore editing
Mhm.
and a lot of really beautiful custom formatting that I hope you appreciated also. The temple
Yes.
has, yeah, I, okay, I'll talk about the temple. so, so in Burning Man, the two largest centermost installations in the open playa, of course, there's the man, which is incredibly iconic, but directly behind the man, going even farther into the open desert, there's a temple every single year. And the design shifts, but the concept remains the same, is that it's a place for anybody to come in and leave notes, leave love letters, leave confessions. have funerals, have weddings, and with all of like the oomph, 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 and craziness everywhere around the playa, going into the temple is incredibly religious experience. Like you feel everything shift, you feel everything change. And for me, it was this really, really deep connection to just to all of humanity and to all of these stories that make us human. And no matter what religion you are, if you're not a religion, it's just human feeling.
Hmm.
And so when I was doing this version of the book, as my character goes through the temple and reads all these different pieces of writing, I spent all of this time making each piece of writing a different handwritten font.
Yeah.
So I wanted reading the book, whether you've been to Burning Man or you hadn't, to give you that same kind of energy as seeing like the uniqueness of each confession, of each love story, of each whatever that piece of writing is, and kind of like replicate as much as I could on the pages of the book what experiencing the temple is really like.
Yeah, I literally felt like I was like in a temple reading them because of just like the different handwritings and the different stories. I think one of them almost brought me to tears. I can't remember which one, but I was like, oh my God, I'm getting emotional while reading this book because like I just got so invested and could really feel like the emotion literally coming off the pages. So I thought that was a really incredible. And I didn't know you hand wrote I was like, I wonder if she hand wrote these and everything. So you totally answered my question on that.
Oh no, I didn't handwrite them. I found handwritten fonts.
Oh, okay.
Oh
That's
no,
what I was like.
if it was really my writing, you wouldn't have been able to read anything.
That's funny. If in case anyone else is listening that might be interested in writing about their experiences at going to festivals or going to raves and want to maybe draw on that and find some type of creative outlet, do you have any advice for someone that wants to get into writing about these experiences?
Oh my goodness. I think with any art form, it's just do it. Just start and see where it leads you. A lot of the different conversations and pieces are just from like little notes that I would write on my iPhone or that I would have in my diary or I would have on my computer. And then I would like go through and copy and paste them and interweave them in. Also, I've always been a really avid reader. I grew up in Northern California with like hippie parents without any TV. So I just read and read and read and read and read, and that was my escape and my outlet. And I think that any time that you're trying to create something, that looking to the people who are already doing it and both supporting them and getting inspiration from them is just as integral. Like you're just getting into DJing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure like just do it, learn as much as you
Yeah.
can about it. But I'm sure that there's so many people that you're inspired by that you've been following over the years. And so you kind of tap into what they make you feel or what makes like this beat or this music or this hook a little bit different
Mm-hmm.
and try to incorporate that in.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think with anything, I talk to people about starting a YouTube channel, starting this, starting that. Like the more you do it, the more you get used to it. So if you want to start writing about your experiences, like start journaling, keep a journal with you. Remember these funny stories or these moments that happen and write them down. And then maybe one day you'll be able to make it a story and then have someone edit it for you and make it something like that. So I was just curious, but yeah, I've been doing the same with DJing. I've been teaching myself to DJ and then I've been listening to like sets more fine-tunedly and just kind of picking out like, oh, that's an interesting transition. Like, how could I replicate that? And then also because I got into EDM probably 2012, 2013. So I feel like I have some history to learn too behind it because I don't want to just like go up there and press play and not really know the meaning behind it, or like how we've been able to get here. So I've been trying to do like documentaries and like learn more about the history and stuff too so I can feel like more connected to it, I guess, in that way. So yeah, I definitely totally agree with that. And so you said that you have authors, right? Or something that you're inspired authors that you're inspired by. Do you have like ones that you typically gravitate towards that you read, or what is like your favorite authors?
Oh goodness. Um, so like I said, I grew up with hippie parents. So I always had all of this incredible counterculture literature around me.
Oh.
So I grew up reading like Hunter S. Thompson, and Kerouac and Tom Wolfe and I was always really intrigued by like the counterculture movement of the 1960s and the hippie movement. um I really feel like Burning Wings is kind of an evolution of those styles of writing that influenced
Mhm.
me when I was so young. And when I was researching marketability and similar authors for launching the book, I was really surprised to realize that I couldn't find any other empowering books by from a woman's perspective about a woman and kind of dealt with this, I don't know, with this type of material.
Mhm.
So that thought that was really interesting and really cool. When I personally, for me, like my guilty pleasures are historical fiction. Like Anne Rice, I always go back to. I love like medieval books and like Miss of Avalon and all of this. As far as like contemporary writers that I've read a handful of times, Patti Smith is one of my absolute favorites. She is incredible. Her book Just Kids deals with her in the at 18 in the late 60s to 70s, arriving in New York in Greenwich Village, and she's like rubbing shoulders with like Andy Warhol and Jimi Hendrix as she's like this crazy beatnik, breaks into poetry and becomes one of the world's biggest rock stars, completely different from anybody else was doing. So I love memoirs, and yeah, I love that insider look at different periods of time.
Mm.
There's definitely a lot of books that I read because I'm trying to stay like topical and be relevant. Like over the past year, I've definitely made a lot of effort to incorporate in more Black female writers into my
Yep.
library and try to honor that and know that side of history.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'm really all over the place. I go through different tangents where I'm like all historical fiction, then I'll be like all fluff, then I'll be like, okay, now I want to study this. And then I have all my like spiritual and esoteric books also.
Yeah. Amazing. I'm gonna have to go back and listen and write down everything.
Yeah, I
All
can send
the
you over a book list too,
all the
of
books.
course.
I try and read nonfiction in the morning and do like some type of motivational book in the morning just to like get my mind going. And then like at night, I'll do like a more fiction type book just to like calm down, get transported to somewhere else, like in another story and everything. I did have another question about the book. Are you going to be writing any other books? Do you have another thought on the way, or is there another book coming along?
Not necessarily. I definitely have a couple of like back end things that I've been dabbling in, but I don't think that anything's anywhere near ready to actually say that I'll publish it. So yeah, I'm not sure yet. I
We'll
have thought
see.
about writing. Yeah, I've thought about writing a self-help book that's just called like How to Do Whatever the Fuck You Want. Because I've published this Burning Man book. I have like a whole cooking company. I'm a yoga
Hmm.
teacher and the production thing. Like everything I've done has been so scattered and random. And in my 20s, everyone's like, what are you doing? Like you have to pick one thing and just stick with it. And I'm like, no, don't tell me what to do. I want to do everything. And because of all of these really diverse skills, I feel like I've been able to be a lot more successful at each thing, especially as a woman entrepreneur and owning my own business. You kind of have to be like a writer and a social media person
Yep.
and be able to like to talk on podcasts and interviews and do your own accounting. There's so many different random skill sets that all come together. So yeah, if I write another book next, it'll probably be called How to Do Whatever the Fuck You Want.
Love it. I'm ready. I can totally relate to that because I do so many different things. Like I do so many different things too. So I totally get that. Um, yeah, I would love to read that book. I think it'll be great.
Okay, good.
I'll be first in line.
First in line for the podcast for
Yeah.
sure.
So switching gears a little bit, I want to talk about Burning Man because I would love to go. I'm like, I want to go so bad. Like me and my friends, we like have been wanting to go for so long. Was Burning Man like your first festival, your first rave? Did you kind of get thrown into it, or had you been going to festivals before? I couldn't remember if you mentioned it in the book, if that was like your first anything like that nature.
Oh my goodness. So, I actually grew up on Grateful Dead tour. My parents
Okay.
met on tour,
Wow.
and by the time Jerry Garcia died when I was 8, I'd been to 40 according to my dad or 60 according to my mom Dead shows.
Wow.
And when I was in my like preteens and stuff, I would go to festivals with my parents. So I
Okay.
actually I had my first kiss at a festival when I was 12. That's a whole other story.
Oh my God.
Um, and then when I was in high school, I like rebelled completely against it. Like I was like, I'm a cheerleader, I'm into gangster rap. Like I don't want your hippie stuff anymore. So yeah, that was like the ultimate crushing rebellion to my parents. And then as soon as I was 18 and moved to San Francisco, I just like fell back in love with hippie culture and hate street culture and all of that history. And I started going to festivals again. So I've been to I think a handful of earth dances. I don't know if you know that. I forget if I had done like a symbiosis, but Burning Man was really like the big one. Oh, for raves. I think I was just starting to get into raves at that time, but honestly, when I turned 21, I just was like clubbing
Okay.
instead. But my first like rave show was freaking AK 1200 and Pendulum, I think in like 2005 in
Wow.
underground San Francisco. And I got really into drum and bass. I'm definitely now more like house. I was into dubstep for a little bit,
Okay.
but so I had some experience, but I was also really kind of naive and didn't really understand what Burning Man was. It's definitely it's definitely a lot more full on than any festival. It takes a lot more preparation. The elements are a lot harsher. And while there is so much community and kindness and love there, there's also a little bit of like this Wild West element. You know, like Burning Man now as we know it, we see like all the Instagram models and the big name DJs.
Hmm.
And it was not always like that. When I started going, it was before social media, like Facebook had just started. It was before it sold out, and there was still like DJs and music there, but there wasn't posted sets. Nobody really talked about when they're going to be playing or what they're going to be playing. You just kind of like put on your
Stumbled
goggles
upon
and
it.
got on your bike and like heard a rumor, and you would like ride 2 miles to this one art installation and like cross your fingers that Bass Nectar or Tipper was going to be there. And if not, you'd like ride somewhere else to go see if you could find them. So, but when you did, it was just this incredible magic experience. And I've gotten into some, I don't want to say like fights, but I've dated a bunch of DJs that are really into like the production side and want to make sure that everybody knows when they're playing. And for me, it's always really about like the interpersonal experience. I feel like the music is the catalyst to bring people together, but ultimately it's the participants and not the performers that make the experience. Like I always like daytime parties better, or
Hmm.
like sunrises when I feel like you can actually see people's faces and have these connections, or like the after parties where it's a little bit more intimate. Or I think it's part of the reason I started working production is because I
Yeah.
really enjoyed being backstage better than in a crowd. Not because
Mm.
like I wanted to be cool, but because I wanted to be on more intimate levels with whatever was happening. And I also wanted to feel like I was a part of creating it, that I was like giving to it rather than just taking away from it or experiencing it. Like I wanted to give that gift back.
Hmm.
So I just went on a nice little tangent.
No, you're good. I think that's incredible. I was just curious how, like, if you had any preparation before, kind of things that you knew about it, because to some people, like, that don't know about Burning Man, which I'll say, I didn't know a whole lot about it before, but as I've like been wanting to go, I'm like, I need to do my research because like I need to be prepared. Like I'm the prepared girl. Like I'm ready. So for those that don't know, Burning Man is a pack in, pack out, leave no trace festival. You got to come with everything you need for the week and you got to take it all with you. And that counts for food, clothes, hygiene, all of that stuff. So that's what she's talking about, that it's just completely unlike anything, where you're just kind of in the middle of the desert and you're left to your devices at some point. And so she talks a lot about that in the book. But I also knew that just from friends I've talked to and learning about it and everything like that. So if you're interested in Burning Man, just know what you're getting yourself into, and I'm sure a lot of people don't, because at the surface level, they see Diplo, they see, the DJs that go and everything like that. Um, and you said that as you've transitioned kind of more into the back side of things, the production side of things, um, would you still say that you love Burning Man just the same as you did when you first went to it, as it's kind of like grown and kind of gotten more on the mainstream side of things? Or has that love just kind of changed in different ways? Like, has it really changed a lot?
That's a really good question. Yeah, a lot of people will tell you that it's changed completely. A lot of people that haven't gone, that just read the articles, will tell you that it's changed completely. And it absolutely has. But if you look at its roots, like in 1986, it was a couple of people on the beach burning a man with Larry Harvey. And then it moved into the desert, and there was a lot of like shootouts and whiskey, and people driving around really fast in pickup trucks. And then it became streets and a little bit more organization, and then there was like one DJ, then there was 10, then there was 100, and now it's kind of associated with that. So
Mhm.
it absolutely has evolved, but I think you could say the same thing about any city or any event or any person. I don't think that anything or anyone is supposed to stay the same and stay stagnant. I think that evolution is natural. There are a lot of elements that I'm not crazy about. Like there the large camps that are very snobby, or you have to pay, thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to be a part of, and it's like making it all VIP. That definitely takes away from what I think the core values of Burning Man are.
Mhm.
From the other end of the spectrum, the art is getting insane and the production levels are getting absolutely insane. And what I found out is that you do need to have some kind of regulation, because there's a lot of wild people out there, and you need
Mhm.
to protect your home, like your camp, you need to protect your family. And unfortunately, that does come with creating barriers and boundaries around yourself and around this home that you set up.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. Like, it's inspiring so many people, it's bringing so many people together, it's transforming so many people. But parts of it are becoming a little bit more like Instagram minded and shallow, where it is a little bit more about appearance rather than about the community and about investing in the community.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully, maybe like after the pandemic, people are just like, we just need to all come back home, come back to ground zero. I can't wait to go one day.
I hope
Um,
to party with you out there.
it would be so
Yes.
fun. Have you been going with the same group every year, or has it kind of changed? Does people kind of go in and out that want to go to Burning Man? Has it been the same kind of core group that you've gone with?
So I'm still really close friends with a lot of my initial core group. My first 2 years, I really didn't have hardly any friends that went out. I was still really young. And I did what I call renegade camp, where I wasn't really part
Mm,
of like an established camp and just went out with a few people and set up wherever we could. For the next 3 years, I was part of a really, really cool camp called the Janky Barge. We had this really ghetto, amazing double-decker bus that we like outfitted and threw some LED lights on. And like half of our camp was DJs, but we were really eclectic. We'd have like hip hop day and dubstep day and like 80s day and house
oh,
day.
fun.
And we just do like 12-hour drives around Deep Playa and play whatever. Like we've had Diplo, we've had Tipper, we've had like some crazy names play on the bus, but we never promote them. It's all
Mm,
just kind of like under the radar. And if you happen to be there, then it's epic, but it's not
yeah.
like this like big posted promotional thing. And then I was with a larger sound camp that had another similar bus that was much, much higher production, called Heart Phoenix. And honestly, those years kind of blew me out. I think I took a year off after that. It was just so much stress, so much pressure, so much just like trying to hold space for all these people that I didn't really know. That I was like, ah. can't do this anymore. And then I moved to Maui, and my girlfriends bought me a ticket. Like, you need to come out, we miss you. And they bought me a ticket. I went out and did like a half of a week with this really cool art installation camp called Hippie Kozo.
Okay.
My really good old friends do these incredible sacred geometry sculptures with different lights inside of them that essentially make these like interactive shadow boxes.
Hmm.
And they're incredible. They're an example of Burning Man's success, where this like just crazy idea started out in the desert. And now they travel around the world doing installations, both for like for public spaces and for hotels and for musicians and stuff. Um, and then the last 3 years, this would have been my fourth year with them. I kind of shifted gears away from like the DJ and art stuff, and now I work with a classical music camp.
Oh, cool.
So my camp is called Frozen Oasis, and we host the Black Rock Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra. So we essentially have like 65 to 100 professional classical musicians that do full symphony orchestras out on the playa. So
Wow.
yeah, so we create this incredible camp that holds space for the rehearsals and does the production for them to move around. And I run and manage our slushy bar, where we have 6 flavors of fresh fruit booze slushies that we serve in the middle of the day. And it is incredible. I love me some DJs. I love that scene, but it's so refreshing to be bringing something else that's a little bit more unexpected out there and kind
Yeah.
of dropping people back in. So like last year, or 2019, I guess is last year, the orchestra played Bohemian Rhapsody in front of over 3,000 people as the sun set in front of this 3-story incredible installation called the Folly. And me and one of my best friends from Maui connected with Mayan Warrior, who does one of the biggest sound systems on camp, and they projected the sound.
Hmm.
Well, we had these dragon shoot fireballs. So if you can imagine 3,000, oh my God, you can imagine 3,000 people singing Bohemian Rhapsody in unison. Well, these classical musicians that are, used to like very, very straight edge like concert halls are playing in
Yeah.
the desert with fireballs and tutus. Like that to me is Burning Man.
I have chills. I literally have chills, like going down my leg. Like that sounds amazing. I would not think to like, that there would be like a classical orchestra, full on orchestra playing. Like I bet people stumbling upon that would be like, what is going on, and then just joining in. I think that's incredible. That
Yeah,
is,
it's like the unexpected and the sake of creation for no other purpose than creation. Like the things that people come up with and just bring out there for no other reason than because they have this desire to share it is mind-blowing. It's so
yeah.
inspiring. And I do think that a lot of people might go out there because of like the social media, the Instagram or the Diplos, but I like to think that they still become a part of the culture and they still find that inspiration. And if they're anything like me, like they can't go back without finding a way to return some of that energy after their first year.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's similar to other. I think Burning Man is always the saying that you kind of get that you don't get the burn you expected or the burn that you wanted, you got the burn that you needed. And I feel like that translates to some other festivals that I've heard, but
Uh-huh.
I definitely think that if like someone was coming from a place of resistance, like they get there the first day and they're like, oh, this was not what I was expecting, but probably by the end, they're like, wow, like my life has changed. Do you have a favorite principle? I think, how many principles are there?
There's 10 principles. I probably
Okay.
don't have them
It's
memorized.
okay. But do you have a favorite one?
Without thinking, the one that pops into my head is radical self-expression. I've always loved playing dress up, and I've always loved being a chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember how much that changed me my first year, was being able to be sexy without feeling like I was being like promiscuous or getting hit on too much. Being able to feel like just like pretty and silly. I don't know, the expression goes beyond with just what you're wearing. It's also just the way that you can interact with people. Like I talked about how I enjoy partying or playing in the daytime a lot more because I feel like there's that human connection. Just going into like the different bars or bopping into different workshops and seeing the characters and the personas that people are embodying in that moment and finding those like little shticks or like little things that you play with. It's it's really hard to articulate in to articulate with words. I've gotten that at like LIB and
Oh,
like in symbiosis a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, like you find people that are just like in character and you don't know who they are in regular life and it really doesn't matter. Yeah, so radical self-expression both through art, through like personal persona and through interactions with other people.
Yeah, I love that one. I've also heard there's gifting and like self-radicalization or no, self-reliance. Is that the one?
Yeah, radical self-reliance is
That's
absolutely
it.
huge. Yeah, like you spoke a little bit about having to bring all of your stuff out there, and that's huge. There's definitely the gifting principle, but gifting is not like demanding somebody give you something or somebody feed you or somebody take care of you. A gift is given from something from a full heart and with no expectation of return and nothing
Hmm.
expected before the gift is given. So yeah, radical self-reliance is freaking huge. um, yeah, my first year, I hardly had anything. I had like coconut water and goji berries and avocados. I don't even know if I brought my own cooler. Um, I borrowed my roommate's bike. Like you pretty much need a bike to get around out there because the playa is just so massive.
Hmm.
And like on the first day of the book, I tried to get on my roommate's bike and I realized that I can't even ride it because he's 6'4" and I'm 5'4" and my feet don't even reach the pedals. So I
Oh
kind of
my
just like
gosh.
walked and hitched rides everywhere that first year. But there's something kind of beautiful about that too, is that if you don't have something, you just kind of figure it out. And that doesn't mean that
Mhm.
somebody else gives it to you. It means that you just work around it and you do the best with what you can.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, Wrapping up Burning Man, what is your best piece of advice for me or someone that wants to go? I know that's a broad question. We can go into a bunch of different things, but if you had to sum it up into one piece of advice for me for my first
Oh
burn,
my God, go with the right people.
okay,
Your camp will make your experience.
okay,
Making sure that you're with people that aren't dramatic and are loving and caring and silly and ridiculous and can like hold their shit down will absolutely change your whole burn. Whether you have
got
a
it,
luxury camp or whether you have a couple of tents, be with your people
got it.
because
Would
you'll
it
see each
be,
other. You'll see each other in your highest highs and your lowest lows.
yeah. Would it be like is it still a thing to go as like a renegade camp? Like is that still a thing or is everyone in their own little camps?
Oh, no, absolutely. There's still
Okay.
definitely a lot of renegades that'll go out there. And that doesn't mean that the renegade camps aren't organized by any sense. It just means that they haven't like pre-registered their camp with the Burning Man org and aren't assigned a pre-camp placement.
Got it. Okay. That's what I was worried about. I was like, well, how do I join a camp? Do I have to join a camp? Like that's like the thing that always kind of goes through my head. So that's definitely
Oh,
comforting to know.
yeah, well, you can go on all of the different like Burning Man forums, both on their own site and on Facebook, and kind of try to find somebody that aligns with you. Like I took my dad out to Burning Man for his first time last year in
Oh,
2019,
amazing.
and he hung out with me during build week. But I was like, okay, Dad, you can't just be with me during the whole week because I'm going to be working a lot, and I want you to have your own experience. So I started going on all of the forums and like made a little spreadsheet of camps that I thought would align with my dad. I'm
Mm.
like, must have jam band rock, must wear tie dyes, must have kombucha on tap, and just like connected with all these people. They're like, oh, your dad sounds great. We'd love to have him.
Oh,
So I feel like there really is the right kind of camp for everyone if you would feel more comfortable being a part of something. Most of the camps will be doing different like meetings or fundraisers or build weeks, build days. leading up to it. And going and being a part of those is a great way to connect with your camp members, get used to working beside them. And that way, when you're arriving, you already have a little bit of a sense of community and you feel like you've contributed to something. I
Okay.
didn't do any of that my first year, but just for the record.
Yeah, I was just curious. I was just curious. So good to know. So as we're kind of wrapping up here almost, we have still some time, if you still have some time.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about outside of Burning Man. You did mention getting into event production. Did you do any of that outside of Burning Man too?
So it probably started with Burning Man.
Okay,
Previous to Burning Man, I was mostly just like waitressing, bartending,
got it.
kind of just like traveling, kind of playing. And then when I started getting more involved with Burning Man camps, I started getting involved with the fundraising aspect of them. And so, we'd throw like club parties or underground parties and just figuring out like volunteer coordination and decor and all these little things. I was like, oh, wow, like I really like making spreadsheets. I'm really good at telling people what to do. I had no idea at all. And then I branched out to, I don't know, to work with just anybody who is in the community. A lot of it is just kind of like gig based anyways, where they're like, oh,
Mhm.
we need someone to run ticketing, we need someone to run VIP. Oh, Kyra can do it. Okay, great. And I just kind of got thrown into doing some work like that and just kind of worked my way up a little bit. Like I was never like throwing my own events or doing anything
Got it.
really, really that big, but I had a lot of close friends who were part of different camps that relied on me to do important jobs. And I absolutely loved that. I love like the whole process of it, from like the planning to the
Hmm.
organization to actually seeing the event go forward and knowing that I was a part of bringing that much joy to that many people.
That's an awesome feeling, I bet.
It is. And all of that aided into what I do now, which is like the yoga retreat catering.
Yeah.
Like I'll cook for 10 to 30 people for an entire week, sometimes like out in the boonies, out in the jungles, or like in the deserts in California. And being able to plan for that and being able to organize and manage my staff in really harsh conditions. Well, like maybe the kitchen equipment doesn't work, or I'm running out of this piece of food that I really need. All of that, all of those skill sets, I feel like came from Burning Man and festivals and doing that initially. And actually, like being out here, like I've done run kitchens for festivals where I've done like 300 people, I've done like 200 people weddings and
Hmm.
things like that. Not just usually a few times a year. That's not my general source of income, but I guess that's definitely event production.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome to see, like, how going to one event, which was Burning Man, has like catapulted you into doing so many different things with the writing and the yoga and you mentioned something else too, I'm blanking on. But with the yoga retreat, so that is also part of your cooking, right? So those go hand in.
Yeah, 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 they go hand in hand. I teach yoga just out of personal love for yoga.
How long have you been
But
doing that?
5, 6 years now, I
Okay.
think. Yeah, and I've been cooking full time for about 6 years, but I've been cooking for about 10 years.
Okay.
And I went to culinary school when I was in 2006. So wow, a long time ago. I can't even do math right now. But yeah, right before my first Burning Man, I graduated from
Okay.
culinary school. Yeah, I really think that all of it kind of interweaves together.
Hmm.
And yeah, without Burning Man, I don't, and without festivals, I'm really not sure where my life would be. Like they brought me my community and my best friends. They brought
Hmm.
me the courage to be myself. They taught me a lot about just business and organization and how to work with people and manage people and hold myself and others accountable. And there's that magic word grace again.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love all of that. That's amazing to hear all of that kind of like progression of just like everything you've gone through since going through your first burn and all of that. And like I could definitely relate to that. I've only been going to festivals since 2015, I want to say. but it's already impacted my life like a ton. Like, had I not gone to that first event, first festival, and dive on into that, like, I would not be sitting here, you know? So I think that's awesome. Thanks for sharing all of that.
Yeah, thank you so
Um,
much. This has been so much fun.
yeah, this has been so much fun. Quick rapid fire question I wanted to ask was,
Okay.
besides Burning Man, favorite festival that you've been to?
Ooh, symbiosis.
Yeah. Is that still going on?
I'm not sure. I haven't been to a symbiosis in a few years because they always coincided with Burning Man Build Week.
Got
The
it.
last one I was at was in like shoot 2017, I think, or
Okay.
2018. But I started going to Symbiosis in 2009 when it was outside of Yosemite. Then they took like a year or two off and they did one at Pyramid Lake, which was kind of closer to Burning Man.
Yeah.
And then they did a handful in Northern California next to this beautiful, beautiful lake. They're just mind blowing. Like for me, a successful festival, or one that that makes me feel really connected, brings together all these different elements. Like, yes, you have the stage production, yes, you have the incredible musical acts, but there also needs to be a community organization. There needs to be workshops that are aimed towards personal development
Mm-hmm.
and learning more about environmental awareness and in spirituality. There needs to be an appreciation for the land itself and for any natives that are residing on it, and show
Mm-hmm.
respect for that. There needs to be art that is interactive, and yeah, ideally some kind of a water element.
Yeah.
Because I love, except for Burning Man, I love floating when I'm at festivals.
Yeah. I think that's why I like Electric Forest so much, is that there's like the elements to that you're talking about. I do really want to go to Lightning in a Bottle that you've mentioned. I have not been to that one, but I think I'll really enjoy that one too. Um,
Yeah, I'd like to go back. I think I did Electric Forest in 2009.
okay.
I was working with one of the sponsors and did it, was in charge of the booth there. I really enjoyed Electric Forest more than I did the other Insomniac ones. It
Mm.
felt more dropped in and more intentional.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I always love that one and it's preach it to everyone. And then favorite subgenre of EDM. I know you mentioned you're into house
Oh
right
my
now.
goodness. Yeah, house and drum and bass. I love dirty tech house. Like,
Ooh,
give me some Dirty Bird music and
yes.
I will dance all night, or like some old school drum and bass jungle. Yeah. Yeah, those are my
Love
favorites.
that. Do you have a particular artist that you love?
Christian Martin and Justin Martin are always going to be two of my favorites.
Love
And
them.
I was talking about some of my catering work. I actually got to cater Christian Martin's wedding when he
Oh,
got married like 2 years ago here on Maui. So
wow.
total super fun
Yeah.
fangirl weekend. Yes.
Did they do like a DJ like set for their live music?
Yeah, they actually, Christian and Justin tag team drum and bass as the sun was setting. So like 20 people dancing on the beach in Maui.
Wow, that's
One
amazing.
of my one of my highlights for sure.
I always wonder, I was like, do DJs DJ their own wedding, or like do they have someone DJ their own wedding? Like I
Oh
would,
no, they DJ their own weddings. Absolutely.
that's amazing. And then any other passions or hobbies that you like to do? Anything that you've been doing to like get through quarantine or anything?
Oh my goodness. I definitely had a little fermentation farm. Had like giant vats of kimchi and sauerkraut and
Oh,
kombucha, and I was doing my own noni. Yeah, little hobbies. I'm such a food nerd. I love cooking. I love my work. I love just like making fancy decadent things for my friends. I love fancy cocktails that are really
ooh,
healthy, with like muddled herbs and muddled chili peppers and like strange liqueurs.
oh, amazing. That sounds delicious. Do you
Yeah.
primarily, I know you mentioned vegan. Do you cook, are you vegan?
I'm not. I'd like to
Okay.
say I'm primarily vegan, but we're in an open relationship.
Okay.
So I mostly cook and eat vegan, and most of my clients tend to be vegan. But
Okay.
ultimately, I want to promote healthy cooking and people being inspired and feeling connected to their food. But I'm definitely not dogmatic about it.
Okay. Gotcha. I was just curious because I used to be vegan. I'm kind of taking a break right now. We're on a pause right now. But yeah, so that was all the questions I had. I'm sure I'll have more. This was so great and so great to connect with you. I feel like we have a lot in common and it's great. I'm excited to go to my first Burning Man. This was so great to get to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Is there anything else you kind of want to leave with my listeners or anything?
Just a lot of gratitude. Thank you so much for the space that you hold and for your energy. You were so easy and so much fun to talk to. I felt like I was just at a festival talking to a new friend. Um,
Yeah.
I would actually, I know you talked a little bit about the book. Would you leave us off with your own review?
My own review of the book?
Yeah.
Oh, what did I write? I'm trying to
Oh, I
think.
don't remember. Or I was just,
Just
I guess,
off the
just
top of
like
my
a
head.
off the top of
Okay.
your head review. What was the thing that spoke to you most about it?
Oh,
That's the
so
most memorable or that changed you the most?
Oh boy. So I gave it a 5-star review, everyone. Just so you guys know, 5 stars. Um, the main thing was like kind of what I talked about. It just like I literally felt like I was there with you. Like I felt like I was literally like with you for each component of that and feeling all of those emotions. I think probably the most impactful was I think when you had the realization of being present and like presence, I think that was whatever chapter that was that kind of touched on that with time and presence and all of that really like spoke to me a lot because that was also something I've been going through during a pandemic is just like trying to be more present because I'm such a planner, always planning for the future, always planning ahead. And so I really had to like bring it down and calm down. So I really liked that whole part about that, and the temple part really spoke to me really
Mm.
well. I loved that part. I think the final temple moments that you had were really impactful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
of
Sorry to put you
course.
on the spot
No,
too.
it's totally fine. I was like, wait, what was my review? Because I remember writing it. But last thing, I'll just have you plug where people can find you. So they can get the book off Amazon, but where else can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Kyra Bramble. It's KyraBramble. It's just at Kyra Bramble on Instagram. Burningwingsbook.com is the website. And you can also find Burning Wings book on Amazon in Kindle or in print. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining
thank you
today
so
and for
much,
vibing with
Aid.
us. Sit tight, Kyra, and sit tight, Vibe Tribe. I will be back to wrap up this episode. That is it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking with Kyra so much. I feel like we really quote unquote vibed. Little play on words, you guys, but I really do feel like we vibed and I felt like I could have talked to her forever. She is just so brilliant and fascinating to talk to, and it's really awesome to talk to people that have been in the scene for so long and just to hear their perspective. Like she's just had so many chapters of her life, and it was just really fascinating to hear, and I could have just talked to her all day. So I hope you guys really do go check her out. Get the book, check it out, read it. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, we are doing a giveaway on my page and her page for 2 signed copies of the book. So be sure to go check that out when those posts goes. So be sure to go check that out when the post goes live. But yeah, that is it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for vibing with me. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, all that jazz. And I will see you guys in the next one. Stay vibey, Vibe Tribe. Bye.